2-point conversion for the month of March, which means we are celebrating Women's History Month with this delightful, wonderful panel of females that you could ever want to have on any podcast. We have like everything going on right here. We have covered the whole spectrum of fantasy and lifestyle. All right, but before we do that, I'm going to talk about a product that, thanks to the twins and a really good Victoria's Secret bra, blatant advertisement right here. It's called Manscaped. And ironically, on a panel of females, this is a product that is designed specifically for males. Unless the male has a female partner, then I guess, it's kind of designed for her too. But Manscaped, 2 things. I am a word nerd. So if you like great copy combined with a great product, you have to go on manscaped.com. Like one of their products is called the Weed Whacker. So you just have to go on to find out what the Weed Whacker does. It's the greatest thing. I don't know who wrote their copy, but he's brilliant. She's brilliant. It's great. The second thing is, and this is the most important part for me anyway, is Manscaped teams up with Testicular Cancer Society to bring cancer awareness to men. I think their motto is "We save the balls" or something crazy like that. So there's a stat that one man every hour, every day is diagnosed with testicular cancer. So when you have a great product, which I've heard that's really great. I gave the promo to a friend of mine and he loved it. And you have a great cause, because if you have a father or a brother or a significant other or even a good friend that's male, saving their balls would be, really important. So just go on to manscaped.com, A, to see the copy and to find out what the Weed Whacker does, and B, to join with a really, really great product. All right. Okay. That's all I got from Manscaped. And since we were talking balls, we will go back to the fantasy football, where we have 4, again, lovely women who are going to introduce themselves, starting with Courtney. Hi, Courtney, who is a nurse, by the way.
Hey guys, my name's Courtney and I am excited to be here with all you ladies. This is awesome. What a great Monday night.
And then we have Jen, who has the lovely Jackson that we got to meet.
Yes, hi, Jen Polvo. You can find me on Twitter at Jen Polvo. Use that.
And we have Steffi, who I'm pretty sure is like in Giants euphoria right now, but hi, Steph. Maybe she can't hear us.
My internet is so bad. My internet is definitely all messed up. Bear with me. What's going on? So excited. Anything that has to do with chicks and sports is my thing. So very happy to be here with some awesome girls so we can talk some football.
And we have Casey, who will probably delight us with some rap later on.
I don't know about that, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm Casey Kasem. You can find me on Twitter at the Casey Kasem, with the fantasy footballers. Yep, that's me.
All right, so let's start off with the most recent. I'm going to ask, and each one of you tell me, what was your most surprising, and it doesn't really have to do with your team, what was your most surprising free agent move or non-move? Let's start with Casey.
But I don't know if I for me, this was the most surprising because I got the news when I was at work and I was like, okay, the Juju staying with the Steelers for the 1-year deal. That was like a kind of surprising to me because didn't see that one happening.
Neither, but I love it. Steffi, for you.
For me, so I probably would have said that, but for me, I think Fitz to Washington because I feel like they're in such an opportunity to just, I really thought they would have traded up and got their guy. And I still think they maybe will do that. I don't think that's not a possibility that they still get a young QB to come in. But I just wasn't expecting Fitz to go there. Maybe I was just being dim, but it wasn't what I was expecting.
I don't think you're being dim at all. Jen, what was yours?
I mean, Casey stole mine, but Juju, like that was crazy. Like we were all holding our breath, waiting to see where he was going to go, and then all of a sudden, he stays with the Steelers. Like, what just happened? But yeah, so that was the most surprising, and obviously most recent. So for me, I'm sticking to it.
And Courtney.
How about Kenyon Drake to the Raiders? What? Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've struggled so much with Josh Jacobs going back and forth, and I know he was hurt a little bit last year, but are you just going to go ahead and say he's not your number one anymore? That was very frustrating to me. So, and I actually like Fitz to Washington. I think that's a great fit. I kind of thought and was kind of keeping my fingers crossed he'd go to the Saints, but just for a year because he's a great leader and they are going to get another guy and Fitz will lead them.
Okay, you guys are stealing all of my material. Just by the way. This is not fair.
Hi, Jay. You're one of our favorite people too. And of course, the lovely Cooter Doodle. Hi, Cooter. How are you? Dan, we say hi to you. Your Deontay shares are going down, but it doesn't matter because the Steelers are going up. And Scott R., hi, friend. How are you? Okay, so the free agent moves, those were all offensive. Does anyone have a defensive free agent surprise or non-surprise? Anyone at all? Steffi?
I'm trying to hold it in. I'm so happy. I don't know. I'm surprised the Giants are actually taking things seriously, I think, because I'm not used to it actually happening. So that secondary is so secure right now. It's really exciting. I was saying before, 31st to 9th to now what? I mean, they definitely could pull off a top 5 defense, the Giants. So it's very exciting as a frustrated Giants fan. So we'll see how it goes.
Anyone else have a defensive? Like I personally was quite upset when Bud Dupree left the Steelers, even though it was a foregone conclusion, but it still hurts. I mean, even though you expect it, it still hurts. But most of it, I guess, since we're fantasy, I can see the offensive side. And yes, Casey, Juju.
Well,
every time we mention Steelers, I'm going to do my Steelers dance.
There you go. Well, I'm a Cowboys fan. That's why I couldn't talk about defense because it's non-existent. So
That's true. We know that Courtney's a Saints fan. Jen, are you a Broncos fan? I know
Yeah,
you're here
of course.
with me. Yeah. Okay. So we have pretty much. Hi, Jeff. We have pretty much. All right. A little bit of everything going on. Okay. What team won free agency besides the Giants?
I was going to say that's who I was going to say. So.
What team besides the Giants won?
You know how, listen, guys, now I can finally say girls. How cool is that? Girls, listen.
The Bucks did pretty good.
Yeah, they did. For a team that, yes, I agree. And I feel like the Patriots are up to something. I don't know how the pieces are going to fit together, but I am excited about it. I think it's fun. Like I think it's going to be some cool football. If Cam Newton can pull it together,
I was gonna bring Cam Newton up because I know how you were like.
But Cam Newton's not going to be able to pull it together. That's why they got 2 tight ends so that he could just pass it right off to him. He can't throw it.
I know. That's football. That's historically how they win.
They got 2 tight ends.
They can throw it to those tight ends all they want. I got both of them in a lot of dynasty leagues, so
There you go.
I'm okay with it.
Okay, so Christian Williams thinks the Browns won free agency? No.
What?
I'm going to go no. Why would the Browns have won free agency? Cam Newton pulling it together. That's not going to be fun.
Yeah, that's what we said, Cooter. He's not pulling it together.
All right, so who did we agree on? Patriots and the Giants won?
Yeah.
I think the Bucks did a great job retaining people. I mean, they did a really good job. You know, I mean, they kept Godwin, they kept they kept Barnett, and they kept David, the linebacker. So I mean, that's good. You know, they didn't have to go pulling; they kept them, which is nice. So, I mean, I still hate the Bucks, but
we love cats.
He makes an appearance on every show I'm on.
Felix says the Patriots lost free agency. So my next question would be, ladies, who do you think lost free agency? Because I'm not sure I can agree with Felix Sharp, but Newton is real in here. Yes, it is. Who do you think lost free agency?
I mean, I think Houston lost free agency. They signed Mark Ingram. Like, what are you doing? And then they stole Philip Lindsay. So, of course, I'm like especially upset about that.
I think the Raiders sucked it up too. They just were giving away offensive linemen, and now we're going to be in a running back by committee. I don't know what John Gruden's thinking. I don't know.
And I want to poke I want the Bengals to do something. Like, what are you doing? Like, I feel like I just want you guys to do something that makes me feel something. Like, I just want to know that Burrow is going to be okay. I want him to know
he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay because they're going to draft.
Someone protect Burrow, please.
They're going to draft an offensive tackle to protect him in the pocket, and then they're going to draft somebody in the second round like Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss, and it's going to be just fine. Don't worry. It's going to be just fine.
Okay, thank you. I feel better now.
It's going to be just fine. It's going to be just fine.
I really do feel better. I'm stressed. Like, I wake up and I'm like, is Joe Burrow going to be protected? Like,
yes.
Casey, who do you think lost free agency?
Man, I mean, okay, so they kept Allen Robinson, but what? Andy Dalton is your quarterback now to the Bears? Like that is like I like Andy Dalton. He's a nice dude, you know, whatever. I'm sure he's pleasant to be around, but wow, that was the most disappointing situation in a while.
Imagine thinking to yourself, you have Mitch Trubisky, Nick Foles, and going, let's get Andy Dalton. That's going to do it. That'll fix everything.
They should have taken Fitzpatrick. Goodness gracious. Andy Dalton, I agree.
Yeah, I see the Bengals. I don't want them to do anything in free agency, being a Steeler fan, and I'm happy about that. So I agree with the Raiders. I think Gruden and Mayock kind of worry me a little bit. Kenyon Drake. Let's just go on. So with the free agency acquisitions, which one is the best, do you think, for fantasy purposes? Who do you think is going to, because of where they got moved, is either going to help someone, or he himself will be a fantasy stud because of where he is now? Casey.
I think Kenny Golladay, honestly, and again, I don't want to talk about this as yes, because nothing's going my way. So let's just add one more. But yeah, I mean, for the purposes of, you know, kind of getting more clarity on things and just feeling more comfortable about the shares that you have, I think that ended up being pretty decent.
And Jen, also, let's stay in the same division. I hate this. It makes me want to vomit. But Fitzpatrick is kind of a hot choice for those McLaurin. You know, like now things look really sexy over there. My worry is, you know, Fitz hasn't played 16 games since 2015. So let's see how that goes. But as long as it goes the way I think it's going to, those shares, listen, that's beautiful placement, because he's just gonna Fitz magic all over the place.
I mean,
I think it'll be really good for Logan Thomas too, because now they've got they paired up Curtis Samuel, and I think it'll be good for Logan Thomas too. So that's nice.
Jen, who do you have?
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about him. Yeah, I mean, I love him. He's played for 8 different teams in the NFL. Like, obviously, he's great for locker rooms. He's got a solid arm, and now he's got weapons. You know, I think that's awesome. If you've got shares of anybody like McKissick or Antonio Gibson or Terry McLaurin or Logan Thomas, like we talked about, like, they're going to be receiving the ball, which I think is really awesome.
Jeff said that he believes A-Rob has stayed relevant with Blake Bortles, Trubisky, and Foles. Andy Dalton is the best quarterback of those. I will give you that Robinson does well with subpar quarterbacks, but I'm still not on the Andy Dalton train.
I mean, Andy Dalton might be a top 5 quarterback for the Bears of all time. Like, yeah. I mean, like the Bears,
the competition's not.
That's crazy.
Andy Dalton's our best quarterback ever. That is a sad statement. That's a sad statement. I don't even want to think about that. Let's go to fantasy drafts. All right, so let's talk fantasy PPR leagues. Steffi, what's your draft strategy in a PPR league?
I am going crazy inside these startups right now. Like, I think I'm scared. I am so uncomfortable about the tight end situation that I've been taking a tight end so much earlier than I ever used to. But I would never take a tight end in the first round ever. I've almost taken one in every single startup that I'm in. I'm not risking it. I can't. I literally can't do it. It stresses me out. So we'll see how it goes.
So, and this is like, so in the fishbowl last season, my first draft choice was George Kittle. So that'll tell you how my season went and how my strategy sucks. So that's why I'm not asking myself this question. Casey, what's your strategy?
Man, I don't have a strategy. Is that like a really crappy thing to say? But honestly, I feel like after a while, when I first started playing fantasy football, I had a strategy, and it kind of went out the window as I progressed. And so now I'm just like, okay, yeah, I want to take best player available in my opinion. But sometimes you're like, man, I really need that. You know, when those runs start happening, you're like, dude. So
the runs.
When those runs start happening, you know, you gotta calm down. No, but
not the runs.
Anyway, so the quarterback runs are my favorite. But yeah.
Jen,
I will say is I am just like coasting without a quarterback for as long as I can get by. Like, because there's so many scenarios that I don't trust that I'm just like, whatever, it's fine. I'd rather just stack the crap out of my roster and figure it out later.
I clearly don't know what I'm doing. Jen, do you have a strategy?
I mean, I guess for me, it depends on a lot of things, but probably my biggest thing is I ignore ADP. Like that to me just is like, especially this early in the season, because a lot of people are doing their drafts right now.
Right.
Just don't even pay attention to the ADP. I do a lot of research. Like that's all we do in our house is research and football and watching film. But yeah, like otherwise it's just luck of the draw. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't like who saw last season coming. You know, I mean, it's just trust your gut. Go after your guy. If you've got a guy, go after him. Doesn't matter what round it's in. Nobody knows what they're doing basically. So do you.
Courtney.
Yeah, that's my same thing is that, you know, just to be flexible because sometimes, you know, you get in your head and I start, you know, doing, I mean, I've got boards and I mean, the same way I know all you do. I've got 4 different color highlighters and I've got 4 different lists going. I've got this, and I'm just making myself crazy. And then just like you were saying, Casey, then a run starts going. You're like, oh my gosh, do I need a quarterback in the round 3? No, you don't need a quarterback in round 3. But it just really, I'm going to not get a tight end unless it's my top 3, maybe top 4, unless they fall to me, then I'm not really focusing on the tight end. And it's hard because these days you want to go running back because they, you know, they get all these points, but anymore, it just seems like, you know, I mean, gosh, look at everybody that drafted McCaffrey and Saquon last year, first and second. They had nobody running, you know, so it's just tough. It's tough. So just flexibility.
Yeah, for sure. I was one of those unfortunate souls who like finally got a good.
Yeah, people, those idiots that got sick.
How about those people that had Saquon or McCaffrey and then Michael Thomas?
Those people were playing a lot of daily fantasy.
What's up, Mike? So do you guys play all right, I in one of the fantasy leagues I play in, and granted it's a home league, if you draft someone that has already been drafted, you have to take a shot. Do you play in those leagues or do you draft in those leagues? Is that a thing or are these guys just fucking with me? Oh, sorry, just messing with me. Jesus.
I mean, everybody has all different kinds of stuff. Is it bad that like the swearing just goes right over my head because I'm so used to it? It's just like I'm oblivious.
No, I appreciate that actually.
I only hear it now because Jackson's repeating everything we say. So I hear every F, every S, everything.
My favorite story is the first time your kid said the F word. Like, I'm not kidding. I think about that at least 3 times a month. Like, that tweet was a perfect tweet. Oh my gosh.
The fact that I missed it, that was the most surprising part, is that he just like threw it out there. Yeah. And
the worst is you can just keep cussing and then you're like, all of a sudden somebody says, you just said the F word. After you said shit like 4 times, and you're like, wait, shit's not a cuss word.
Like I don't think the F word's a cuss. Like you can use it like as a noun, a verb, an adverb, an adjective, anything that is that.
I like it.
Yeah.
Where have you been my entire life? I'm just wondering.
Right.
It can't be a bad thing. If it has that many uses, how can it be a bad thing? I just don't understand.
Everybody shits.
I don't know. Almost, well,
True.
you know.
And some people like it more, like OBJ. There's some people that enjoy it. You know?
Oh, that's not. That's disgusting.
I will never get over it, and I won't let it go.
I'm not judging them, but that's like. Okay, we were going to talk about the men's NCAA tournament, but yeah, I really don't want to because my bracket's broken. But are any of you still kind of in it? Did any of you do brackets?
No.
I did 3.
You did 3? Are you in it? Any of you?
I actually didn't. I don't follow as much. I kind of do them for fun, and I feel like so. I went to University of Arizona, and that's when I started actually liking basketball because they made it to the Final Four while I was there. I didn't go to the tournament this year, but I picked I just try to just run with it. My Loyola bracket, I think, is still chilling. But the other ones are screwed. Yeah, I had Illinois and UConn. The other 2, just for fun.
Yeah.
Wait, I got all excited when you went to the University of Arizona. Yeah. Is that what you said? So did my wife. She got her master's there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I started my master's there before I dropped out. In what?
Shouldn't I know this shit?
Hope she's not watching.
I know for a fact she's not watching. Accounting.
Wow, good for, awesome.
Isn't University of Arizona, isn't that the #1 party school?
I mean, went there.
Who did? Isn't it? I know, really. So,
Rock and Full.
I'm pretty sure that's Ole Miss.
No.
I mean, it was definitely watching.
No. I'm just throwing this out there because I watched ESPN's Jay Billis show, and you guys know how they have the Madden curse, like everyone that was on the Madden cover gets hurt the next year. Yeah. So Jay Billis had the Iowa Batman guard, whatever they call him. He had the guy from Illinois, the guy from Illinois, that's the Iowa guy. And then the Iowa guy, Garza, on his show. I'm calling it right now, the Jay Billis ESPN curse. Every player that was on there, they're out of the tournament. They were #1 or 2 seeds. Boom. Called it.
Was Gonzaga on it?
So the Gonzaga coach was on it.
Okay.
The coach from Loyola was on it. So the coach
it's
the players.
I think it's going to be some random team like Florida State or Alabama because the last time a West Coast team won, which is Gonzaga, right, was in 1997, which was Arizona.
Oh, yeah. I think it's going to be Gonzaga. They're destroying competition right now.
And then the University of Arizona has given me nothing but pain since then. I mean, their football team is so mean. I was there. Foles, I met a couple times while I was there. He was a junior, senior. I forget what year he got drafted, but he was there while I was a freshman. And after that, I was like, you got Kadeem out, Carey, and then it was see you later, Arizona sports.
Wait, you today that who's Danny Dimes is your new boyfriend?
At this point now, I know it's so irritating to everyone that I'm just shoving it down everyone's throats and making it as uncomfortable as possible. Yeah, I decided he was my boyfriend. Yes. So,
do you think that if you keep saying it enough, it'll happen? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, the funniest response I got to that actually was someone responded, "Are you his girlfriend, though?" And I laughed so hard. I was like, touche, touche, touche.
Touche. Hi, Jackson. Wait, is your cat named Jackson?
No.
That would be weird.
Yeah, no, this is Pike, the big guy, and then the orange one that keeps running across me is Beckett, is named after Josh Beckett, the Red Sox pitcher who's not with the Red Sox and was only with the Red Sox, I think, 2 more seasons thereafter. But yeah, they're very interested in what's happening. No, Jackson and Nate are in the basement.
Oh, don't tell Jackson we said hi. But the cats, I think are a welcome addition to the show. I like them.
It's like a circus up in here. I had to have Nate come up and grab Jackson's dinner and milk because it was still sitting on the table, and They're going after the mac and cheese. I'm like, get out of here. You are so distracting.
Come on, Nate. All right, Sean out here representing Appalachia State. Respect. Hey, Sean. Munder
Sean?
Difflin FF. Yeah, Sean. Munder
That's
Difflin.
Scott. His name is Scott. I don't know what the Sean means.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure what's happening right now. That's
Me neither. Scott, explain yourself.
that's it's okay. All right. So we talked about the draft strategy, which Stephanie, everything you said don't do is exactly what I did last season. Like to quarterback
I
first
go
round.
for it. Like
I took it in the first round.
I'm like, how do I feel now? I don't know. I'm just going to do this. I like that. And then do you guys ever, I was tweeting this today, do you ever get like the end of the draft? Like I'm talking like 21st round. And I'm like, yo, I like that guy's name for sure. And I just drafted him. I mean, like, no, I'm drafting at that point. Like, it's so late. I'm like, his name's Butt. Hell yeah. And
Yeah, I mean, in those later rounds, like, there's nothing else you can do. I'm like, I don't even know who this person is. Okay, I like their name. What was the guy? I can't remember his name last year who I drafted.
I find coolest name, and I just smashed draft.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have actually tried to start like false runs so that they would get off a player that I thought I needed. Like I would go, oh my God, it should be a tight end right now, and hope that everyone goes, oh my, she just took Travis, so we're gonna have to get like the other 3 tight ends when I really want a running back or something. It never works. It's never worked for me.
I'm holding tight ends though. Like when I say I'm taking tight ends, like I'm definitely not a nice human being. It's like the least nice I've been. Like I'm taking every tight end to the point where, because I figure later on everyone's gonna realize that they should have taken the tight end. And then I'm just gonna rob you because you're gonna be screwed. I mean, like you're smart. I have one league where I have Chelsea, Pitts, Jonnu, Henry, Ingram, and like one other. Who else? Hopkins. Someone is gonna have to. You guys are gonna have to pay up for that, right? Like, so when I start panicking in leagues, I'm like, what is everyone lacking? And then I just take the best player I can because I know.
No, that's not quite it. That's not quite it. What I want to ask right now is not a question that I put on there beforehand, but it's going to be easy. How did you guys get started in fantasy football? How did you guys get started writing in fantasy football? And let's start with probably the newest member, which would be Courtney. How did you get started?
Honestly, I'm too much in my head when it comes to fantasy football. It literally like consumes me, which is bad because I'm a mother and a wife and a nurse, and that's not good to say. But like, this whole thing that just happened, all this COVID stuff, life was just turned upside down. And when I was in school, I actually wanted to be a writer. I majored in English and journalism and thought that I was going to change the world and I was going to be, the female reporter on the sidelines. I grew up breathing football in the South and it never happened and I had to pay the bills. And so I went another route. And then this year I was just on Twitter and I just started seeing people asking for writers. And I just took a leap. Like I literally was just like, you know what? I'm just going to write some stuff up and send it out there. And people started liking it. And it just made me that much more excited. And it's such a breath of fresh air to do something that I always think that I was born to do. So I love it. And I'm very thankful to everyone who has given me a shot.
Well, I just want to throw in there that as a nurse, you probably are, especially during the COVID, changing the world. So you have reached the apex of both of your desires. Congratulations on that. Jen, how did you get started?
Kind of the same way. Like it was more like Nate's my husband, for anybody who you all know who he is, but
literally the most amazing person ever.
He is.
Also her husband.
Yeah. Nate had this Twitter account that was like all consumed by politics and just crap for a really long time. He got to a point where he was like, you know what? I'm nuking this. This is dumb. I want to focus on fantasy football. So that's what he did. And he started his fantasy Twitter account. And Seth, who's the founder of In Between Media, put out a tweet like, hey, I'm looking for writers. If anybody's interested, hit me up. And Nate was like, well, I've never written anything in my life, but sure, I'll reach out to him. And I mean, long story short, it kind of worked out, and Nate joined IBT. And then about a month into it, I think it was about a month into it, Steph was like, hey, Jen, you in too? And I'm like, I guess. Like, sure, I'll jump on this thing. I mean, I've got a degree in communication, so I wanted to major in English and didn't. But so I was like, yeah, I mean, I love football. I love fantasy football. I've been playing fantasy football for 10 plus years, so let's do it. And I started a Twitter account. I think it was August or September. I need to look this up because I get asked this question often enough. But anyway, so I'm like fairly new to it and just started writing about my life, writing about fantasy. Like my column is half fantasy and half lifestyle and life, which is my cats and my kid and my husband and growing up in Colorado where, you know, we just had a blizzard last week and Nate and I got snowed in for 2 days, you know, and it was awesome. I mean, Jackson was at my parents' house, and so we had like a second honeymoon at home and watch movies, and it was awesome. It was awesome. So, yeah, long story longer. I got into it because of Nate and Seth.
Casey, and you can tell us like in rap term if you wanted to. Dude, I'm going to get freestyle rap out of you before this is over.
I don't know if I could freestyle about how I got started, but I was. Is that we could just start doing like a flow with like no, you know, back in the day I was on Twitter. It was 2008. I wasn't even late. I was early to the game. And then I put out a tweet a long time later that wasn't so lame. It was the one right there that changed the game. His name was Ryan Hallam over with Fighting Chance Fantasy. He said, do you want to come write for me? And I was like, sure. He said, come on over. I said, I will. I rap just like I'm Hova. And he said, I don't care about your rap skills. Can you write? I said, not really, but that's all right. So he said, do what you want to do. And I said, okay, let me join your crew. That's what happened. That was so bad. I'm not drinking. I'm not drinking on the weekdays, so I get.
That was fucking awesome. That was awesome. Sorry, that was awesome.
That was amazing.
Thanks. So anyway, yeah.
That too? Are you kidding me? Come on, girl.
You know
what happens. I'm sorry.
How am I supposed to follow something like that? Not only did I not follow Casey, and now Casey's gonna rap it, and I have to follow her. Like, come on. Come on, Casey, Jesus, you get cooler every time I'm on the pod.
No.
My story is like Jen's, where I just kind of fell into this. With quarantine, I was really bored. I go to medical school, not anymore, I'm in America now, but I was going to medical school in the Caribbean, and then Corona said, no, thank you. It's time for you to get up on out of here, and you're going to move back with your parents at the ripe age of 27, and you're going to have a blast. And you know what happened? I didn't have a blast. So then I downloaded Twitter and started just doing Twitter things. It was around draft. And then come August, I made one Leonard Fournette comment, kind of started out in the Giants community. That kind of went off. I had like 200 followers chilling there, being obnoxious a little wild. And then the Giants site gave me an opportunity, and then the rest was a little bit history. And then now I'm with the FCM, which is awesome. I could never imagined, this was like not something I ever pictured. It took a while to even decide to go to medical school, and now I would be in sports. I don't know what's going on.
You're in sports. It's the perfect. So we know that Jen does lifestyle and fantasy. Steph, what is your concentration major besides, you do mostly Giant stuff or no?
So I feel like football is my passion. Okay. I do football and fantasy, and then I guess you could kind of argue I do lifestyle too, just because of the way that I am and the way that my Twitter rocks. And I think but really my passion is just covering football. I fantasy as well. And now I'm dipping my toes in the gambling world. So that's going to be a new adventure that everyone is going to be excited for. Because who doesn't like money? I like money. So.
Well, it is a good thing. Courtney, you write on I've seen you just like go, does anyone have an article they want me to write?
Exactly. I mean, I'd love to focus on, the Saints as much as possible, but that's, we can't overload the world with the greatest team ever. So it's kind of, but no, I mean, literally it's just what anybody wants me to write. And I do so much research through the year, and this was prior to even being on Twitter and being, any kind of writing. I'm just way too focused on finding out as much as I can about everything. And so that's what it is. If you got an article or if you got an idea, then I'll make it come true,
Nice. Casey, I want to talk about your podcast for a second.
Okay.
Because it's not a normal, it's not a normal podcast, and in its abnormality, it's a great podcast. So, because you talk to people, right?
Yeah, I talk to people because, I'm trying to get over a thing called anxiety that I'll never get over. And I had the bright idea.
Bored with it, baby.
Yeah. So the way I deal with it though is to like talk to people. And so I was like, you know what? Like we should do something. I know that like back in the day, the homies had podcasts where they interviewed. There was a bunch of different guys that would interview. And like Matt Harmon had a Backyard Banter, and he'd interview guys and gals in the I can't even talk, in the industry, and then go from there, right? And so he hadn't done that for a while, and I wanted to do something like that. And so he was like, "Yeah, you should." And so I was like, "Freak yeah!" So I just on a whim decided to start this podcast where I sat down and chat with people and try not to like hyperventilate while I'm talking to like Matthew Berry, and Mike Wright had to like calm me down the other day because I was having like a nervous breakdown before I started talking to him. So it's like,
well, I'm usually getting sweat. This is really the most comfortable I've been at ever. Like I'm usually legitimately perspirating like a psycho on every single thing I do.
Yeah, I've had to learn to like turn my air conditioning down real low, and like my glasses will get fogged up half the time I'm talking to people.
The windows are open right now. I got the windows open.
Man.
Where can we find your podcast, Casey?
Yeah, so it's on most, I'm guessing, podcast apps that you guys listen to your podcast on. It's called Get Real with Casey Kasem. So I usually drop one every Monday night, depending on like if I'm in a good mood or not. But there should be one coming out tonight. I interviewed Derek Brown, and so if you guys know D-Bro, he's a pretty dope dude. So that should be coming out tonight.
Okay, that's
Casey Kasem? Get Real with Casey Kasem?
Get Real with Casey Kasem. Yeah. So there's a logo of a football, and it's like, because football. But I called it Get Real because if for some reason I'm like, okay, I want to interview somebody else that's not in the fantasy space, like I have that kind of fluidity to do what I want. So it's pretty cool. Plus
interesting people that aren't in the fantasy space, though. That's my question.
Well, I don't know. Well, I mean, we're more interesting people than anybody else. So yeah.
We are. It's just it's a true statement. I mean, it's just I can't even imagine. Jen, you do a podcast with your husband?
We don't together. Nate does. I think right now I'd have to look at the schedule, but we will be going back to weekly with IBT. But that's Nate, Seth Wilcock, and Scott Rainier, who's in this chat right now. My podcast, I've only been asked to be on one podcast, and that was called the Real Moms Podcast. And it's my best friend podcast, and I just went on and talked about life and pregnancy loss and the stigma attached to that, which there shouldn't be, by the way. And it's okay to talk about it. and our memories as children, because we've been friends for like 34, 35 years. But I'd love to podcast with someone, and it doesn't have to be football.
So Kyle and Dan and Rum Boys, you heard Jen. You need to get Jen on your podcast, and she can talk about not only sports but life. And you need a little female.
Well, Rum Boys and I are trying to link up and maybe do a like Rum Girls Night Out takeover. So
Cool.
we will maybe talk about that.
Okay, well, we talked to Robbie last night, so this is
good.
I'm excited.
Yeah, Steph, don't you do a podcast on Friday nights with somebody named Dave? No?
Friday, 4 p.m. It's like my favorite show ever. It's so cool. Dave's like, I don't like to say work husband because I kind of think that sounds creepy, but he's like my work brother. Like, I feel like, Dave is like my soulmate in this industry. I scared the shit out of him when we first met, and we were both at Fantasy Intervention, went on to be co-owners, ended up moving on from there, but we decided to keep our Friday show. We've had some really great guests on. It's been a blast. We're having Matthew Berry on. I'm going to definitely make sure to wear deodorant during that because I'm going to be like everywhere. But really, we've had Scott Fish and Chris on, and like we try to move away from football and get to know people for like let's just talk life and how you got in here and what's going on. We talked about pickleball last week. Like we just try to keep it real. So it's been a blast. It's been awesome. And it ended up being my last week was my favorite show I've ever been on.
Okay. What is sickleball? I'm sorry. What is that?
Pickleball. Pickle.
How do you explain it? I feel like it's hard to. It's almost like tennis, but not really.
It's like a combo of like tennis and like racquetball kind of
And
weird.
squash.
Yeah, it's
Crazy.
very popular.
Yeah, it's
No, I don't play it, but I watch old people play it all the time.
I played it. It's fun.
I played it, and old people do too, but it's okay.
Yeah. Scott literally broke bones playing it.
Pickle. I swear to God, I've never heard of this. Pickleball.
Yeah. It's like squash kind of too, right?
Isn't it very northern? Isn't it a very northern game?
Oh, Arizona loves it. They're like
There's
they do it.
a lot of old people in Arizona.
Exactly. I said that. Exactly.
I'm gonna look at it when we're done. All right, let's go to superheroes. Who is your favorite superhero, Casey Kasem?
Is it bad if I say like I'm the lamest person in the world and I don't watch anything that has to do with superheroes or read anything?
It could be a live person. It could be your wife.
My superhero is me when I'm drinking alcohol and having a good time and I'm super wasted. That's what I like to call myself. So there you go. I'll wear a cape and everything.
So wait, why didn't we get the superhero Casey Kasem then today?
Well, I'm trying not to drink on the weekdays because I got fat like 7 years ago and haven't changed the way that so I'm like the Clark Kent right now, I had the glasses on, so
I guess that we should all be our own superheroes though. So that's
I don't know. The thing for me is I've just never been one of those people that's been into that kind of stuff, which is I'm into everything else. So you'd think I'd be into that too, right? But I don't know.
Was it the rap Casey Kasem that's your superhero? Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean the rapping and stuff, like, fight crime. Yeah,
With your words.
Boss. Yes.
Pulled off a freestyle like on the spot. I put you on the spot and you just pulled off an excellent freestyle. Don't even tell me that you can't.
Well, yeah.
Okay. You not do. That's what I want to know. I want to know what the hell you don't do. It's starting to get annoying.
Well, I don't date men.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah, let's see. I don't know. No, that's about it.
Like I wish I had that superpower. Let me tell you.
Steph, who is your superhero besides Casey? I think we all agree that Casey is all our superheroes, so she's off the board right now. So who is your superhero?
Who is it
You say
to?
me.
Stephanie?
Oh, okay.
You are. Steph, you are.
Me? Okay. Let's go Hulk because I feel like I am very Hulk-like. Like he sometimes just can't control himself. You know, it's like you gotta go for it, and it's like you're getting angry and you gotta get talked down. And Dave does the talking down usually, but like it's like just turn into Hulk, and then usually I regret it. I feel bad, and then I'm like all upset about it. So I'll go Hulk with this one because I think it's hilarious.
I think that I like that, but okay, there was a line that Hulk said wow, I'm geeking out. In one of the movies where they ask him how he controls himself, and he says, I'm always mad. Like, they're like, is that you? Are you always mad? And you're just in control some of the times?
I don't think I'm always mad. You know what's funny is I feel like I always laugh because I feel like if people ever see me in the hospital, I feel like there is a 0% chance that girl is Steffi Smalls. Like you guys would be like, who is that person? Just because like I can very much pull together. Like I'm not running around the hospital like being a lunatic. I can't be a normal adult, but I try to see through. I think I'm just so passionate. It's the passion that gets me. I think it's like, you know, you're trying to bite your tongue, and I'm getting better about it. I'm learning how to view conversations and view people, and it's a very beautiful thing. It's growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave was scared of me, and now we do a show together. So that's growth right there.
That is growth. But I've seen some of the comments on Twitter, and you don't really need to mute some of those. You should probably just answer them with your Steffi self, with your Hulk Steffi self. Some of them are just
like,
silly.
you know what my favorite thing is I ever heard was, I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you. And like that, and that's it. Like I can explain it to you, but if you can't process it yourself, I don't know how to help you, man.
You're just out there. You just so Jackson's pretending he's a superhero now. Yes.
I know. I saw that. Isn't that awesome?
I want to know, Nate, what superhero Jackson's pretending to be, and Jen, who was your superhero? And it has to be Jackson, besides Jackson.
Besides Jackson. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys consider Deadpool a superhero?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, because like I'm obsessed. First of all, it's Ryan Reynolds.
Exactly.
Second of all, Deadpool is like the most fantastic, sarcastic,
thank you,
amazing superhero that I think is out there.
I love, maybe because it's Ryan Reynolds, but I love Deadpool. He's just great. I mean, you cannot be that sarcastic and not be a superhero.
Right?
Yeah, why so serious? Just like chill.
So we know Jackson isn't pretending to be Deadpool, which is probably a really, really good thing. Although, you know, I don't have kids, so I don't know, maybe. Courtney.
So I have a 6-year-old and he loves everything superheroes, but I feel like I missed all that chunk of like Avengers and stuff because I can't watch graphic movies in the house, right? And so I'm an X-Men fan, and I love Wolverine and his Edward Scissorhands. But I really, if I could be anybody, I'd be Storm because she's a badass. She's a badass. I mean, she has such power. She can fly. She can change the weather. She can control everything around. Yeah, it's Storm for me.
So that's the superhero you'd want to be, right?
Yeah. Who do I love? I love Wolverine because he's hot and he's awesome, but I want to be Storm. So, you know, I mean, both of them. Storm's hot too. They're both hot. I want both of them. I want both of them.
That's actually fair. They both are. I guess. But so we know that Casey would be Rap Casey superhero, and that right now she's probably all our superheroes. We know that Steffi is the Hulk superhero, which I find kind of interesting because it is totally opposite of what you look at when you see Steffi. You don't think the Hulk. You know?
That's the point. I'm like, all of a sudden I'm 5 foot, and then I'm this big green scary beast that's gonna rip your face off.
And we still haven't found out who Jackson is pretending to be, but he's not pretending to be Deadpool, although his mom is Deadpool. And Courtney picked 2, which is cool.
No, I'll pick Storm. if I'm Wolverine, then I can't look at him. So I'll be Storm.
Okay, and you'll be Storm. So, if your superhero was a fantasy football player, like if Storm was a fantasy football player, who do you think she would draft first? I know, right?
Ooh, I feel like it has to be somebody that's electric and somebody that's crazy.
I'm not in the draft.
Oh. Is this, are we, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Come back to me. Let me think about it. Come back to me.
Jen, Deadpool, who would he draft first?
That's what I'm trying to think of. Like, who is so, like, maybe like Gardner Minshew. Like somebody who's like,
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, like doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense, no.
But Gardner Minshew's hilarious, so they get along very well.
Casey, who would he draft first?
Rap me? Well, probably Cole Beasley because he's got the best bars out of all the NFL rappers, I guess. Sorry, Lev. You know, and I would not win with Cole Beasley being my first pick, but thug life. I don't know.
Yeah, Cole Beasley's a good choice. I like it. Steph, who would the Hulk draft first?
Oh gosh, it's got to be a big boy. Maybe you go Kelsey. Like he needs someone like.
Oh, that's
He's sensitive. He's a little too sensitive for that. We need someone a little more sweet. God, I don't know. He might go, Dak Prescott, maybe? I'm trying to show the Cowboys some love.
She just wants to win.
Casey, okay?
Okay. Maybe I'd have to go with, if I'm playing, maybe I'd have to, I do not want to give the Cowboys love, but I am going to be on a ride or die for CD Lamb this year. And I think that he is going to have this crazy breakout 2021. And so he's going to be my electrifying player because I feel like he is just going to go.
That's a good one.
So there you go.
That is a good one. I like, he's electrifying CD Lamb. Okay. I like it.
Damn it, Sean. Come on. You're right. Henry.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
King Henry. Yes. Absolutely.
Sorry. I was shaking his ass. Okay, leave me alone. All right.
Appreciated.
Thanks. All right.
Did y'all see the Jay Cutler Deadpool?
Just smoking a cigarette.
God, I miss Jay Cutler.
Ever. He said no one ever. That is pretty much dead on. It would be the perfect couple. All right, ladies. I can't even quantify. I can't even qualify how much I appreciate all of you being on here. You are magnificent. Sean said, so do the Bears. There you go. Jay Cutler. Before we leave, I want each of you to tell people where they can find you, how they can find you, and because we need more females on podcasts and we need more females writing, I want you especially to let them know where they can find you so they can get a hold of you to put you on their podcast. Let's start with Courtney.
All right. Well, I'm on Twitter at LoveTractor3, and I contribute to Going4 2 and Pro Football Mania, and most recently Grand Central Fantasy. So reach out to me. I'm always on Twitter, and I would absolutely love to be out there for anybody. If you want somebody to come on and talk about the Saints, let's do it. Or anybody for that matter. I also really want to start a fantasy football and food blog. So if anybody wants to help me with that, let's do that too.
Food blog?
Food blog. No, food. I'm a chef in training. I swear I was a chef in another life. I love to cook, and I love to cook crazy things.
I love to eat crazy things.
I like to eat. I like to eat crazy.
Yeah?
I like to eat.
I will cook for you. I will cook for you.
Where do you live? Where do you live?
Where do I live? I live in Tahoe. I'm on the Nevada side of Lake Tahoe.
That's too far to go for food.
It's never too far to go for food.
That's true too. That's a good point. Jen, where can we find you and get you on blogs? Get
Yeah,
you on, yes.
at Jen POLVOGT, Jen Paul Vote, like politics and vote, on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. At IBT_media, in-betweenmedia.com, any of those places. But Twitter is probably going to be the easiest.
And her son Jackson, who is a superhero, is also available for guest appearances. We saw him today. He's delightful.
Yeah, he jumped on a mock with, what is it, Steffi? What's the mock? Or not the mock, the draft you did yesterday?
Democratic Chaos.
He was on
and I felt so bad. I said the F word, and then I realized, Jackson, you said that word. It's okay. I felt so bad. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a child here.
Who's a child?
It's okay.
He's probably heard it before.
As long as he uses the word properly, that's all we care about. And not in front of adults.
Yeah, as long
Use it properly. That's my question. It can be used in any sentence. It's a proper use of it. Steffi, we'll let you go before Casey this time.
which makes
Where
sense.
can we find
Please, yeah, save the best for last. Fine. You can find me at Steffi Smalls with 3 L's. I am with the FTN Network, and then also on Instagram, Twitter. Do my thing. Everything that I do is on there. At this point, it's like, how do I say everything that I'm doing? At this point, I'm busy as heck. Wish I was not
And-
quite as busy, but loving it.
Smalls is with 3 L's, you guys, because I messed that up.
It's for Brady's 3 losses. So if you're listening, you'll never forget because I said it. He
for
lost
Eli.
twice to Giants, and he lost once to Foles. And right there is Brady's 3 losses. They're in my name, and that's it. And I love Brady now. I got that, man. You gave me three. I'm good.
Pretty awesome, actually. Casey.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, you guys, you can follow me on Twitter at the Casey Kasem. It's KACEY, and make sure you put the, you know. You can find my writing with the Fantasy Footballers, starting that back, getting in the geek, getting in gear. And you can find my podcast, Get Real with Casey Kasem, anywhere that you listen to your podcasts.
Ladies, again, it has been my pleasure to have you all on
Thank
and
you.
to have
Thank you.
all of your insights. You are phenomenal. And
Also,
thank you.
this is my first podcast, like first show anything with all females, and let me tell you, this is awesome. I'm so
So much
this
fun.
moment right here is so damn cool. So hell yeah.
It is, isn't it? Steffi hit 9K today. Way to go, Steffi.
Hey.
Yes.
I don't know how.
Who's Scott? I don't think I know Scott, but yeah. Thanks, Scott. Steffi hit 9K today. What?
It's a wild
What did you
day. I didn't even know someone tweeted at me, 9K, congratulations. I'm like, 9K what? What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're saying.
Dollars in my bank account? Thanks.
I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, 9K pause? What you saying? That's cool. I'm down. And then I realized what was going on, and I'm like, oh, that's crazy. That many people. All right, Chris.
You guys need to follow all these ladies to find out what they do. Thank you again for being on. One more time, you need to go, ladies, to manscaped.com. Find out what the weed whacker is. Find out. But even if you're not a fan of balls, right, of course. But in case you have friends, you have friends that are males, and you want them to
I
keep
do.
their balls.
I do
Yes.
want them to keep their balls, and I'd like them to
You
keep
want
their
to keep their
balls
balls.
clean and
So Manscaped teams up with Testicular Cancer Society. Let them know about it. So we can protect all the balls, even those that we don't want to be near. So let's do it. Thank you guys. Thank you, ladies. Love all of you.
Thank you,
Have a
thank you,
good
thank
day.
you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Bye, Jackson.
That went by so fast. Let's do it again soon.
We out.
I love